Rugby World Cup 2019 is almost over. We've got 2 games left. The third place match between Wales and New Zealand, and then the final between England and South Africa. There's not much to do between now and then, except for watch highlights videos of these games. So I thought we'll talk a little bit about some of the video content on World Rugby site to see where some of the interest has lied. I mean, to be fair, I've watched Dragons and Glasgow yesterday on the Pro 14. It was not a live game, it was just a full replay. So these are the things we do when we're waiting for the games to come. But I mean, to be fair, part of the point I'm making this video as well is that the exposure that rugby gets during the World Cup is awesome, and some of that's reflected in these numbers. It's pretty good in terms of the exposure that the game's been getting. And I know I talk about it in some of my live streams and whatnot, how most of the guys in my office, guys and girls, are not generally that interested in rugby, but even some of those guys during Rugby World Cup time will share an opinion here and there and talk about some of the games. So let's look at the 10 most viewed videos on World Rugby's YouTube channel during the Rugby World Cup, and to kind of see where some of that interest lies. We can see which games have been particularly noteworthy in terms of the pure views, and if there's any particular reasoning for that. So the 10th one with 1 million views was Wales against Australia. And I'm going to put a plus there because it was the extended highlights. One thing World Rugby has been doing during the Rugby World Cup is releasing an initial highlights, which is started like 2 minutes. It was pretty pathetic. And then they actually started releasing proper in-depth, like 9-10 minute highlight packages. I think the semi-finals were like 25 minutes of highlights. So, Wales and Australia, the extended highlights package was about 1 million views. That was a big game in the pool stages. It was basically the one which was going to decide who goes through top of that pool. So Wales ended up getting the win. It's good. It's encouraging because people always talk about how the game is dying in Australia. I like to think a lot of those viewers were from Australia as well. So, it's encouraging to see both those teams there. 9th was New Zealand against Ireland. Now that was a quarter-final, so it should attract more attention than perhaps a pool game. It was only the short highlights that had the reviews. Again, it's around about 1 million. So, it was a bit of a blowout. If it's the game you watched, then it's that one that you knew which side it was going to go the whole time. Because, much like when New Zealand lost to England, it was kind of one side in control, but this time it was New Zealand being in control. So, I suppose that makes sense. If you'd played that game in 2018, I feel like it gets more views, but that's the way this one went. Next is New Zealand against South Africa. That one was a pool stage game. That one had 1.1 million views. Again, that was start of the tournament, so it's had a bit more time to accumulate some views than perhaps some of the other videos if you're just looking at the pure time scale. But that was always going to be a titanic battle. You look at both those teams went on to make the semi-finals. It's kind of no real surprise that those two teams are on the board when they play each other, because, a lot of people in New Zealand and a lot of people in South Africa are interested in that game. Likewise, a lot of neutrals. So, not too surprising there. The next one was Japan against Ireland. And I believe it was the extended highlights. So I'll put a plus next to that one. Excuse the handwriting. That one's an upset. So I think that's kind of why it ranks perhaps above a playoff game there. That one kind of got the rugby world talking. It got the Japanese kind of media train going. A lot of people were talking about them a lot more seriously after that game. So, in terms of the tournament itself, that game was a pretty epic result. So, it's good that one got a lot of attention and over 1 million views. The next one, New Zealand fans look away now, and it's only a really recent one, was England-New Zealand. The highlights is at 1.2 million. That's the semi-final just gone. That's definitely going to keep marching its way up the board because that game's only a few days old and has already beaten out some games, New Zealand, South Africa, which has been at the start of the tournament. So Yeah, that was a big result, and yeah, that's the kind of game that you want to go look at the highlights of. Man, New Zealand got beaten by what? I mean, the scoreboard actually doesn't look as bad as the game was. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, that was a pretty big result. All Blacks got beaten in the World Cup for the first time in a long time. Lots of eyeballs should be on that one. Next, onto the other side of the board is Japan against Scotland. Japan against Scotland. That was kind of a knockout game in itself. It was after the Typhoons. Again, that was really towards the tail end of that, the pool stages basically, and it was when the Japanese, I don't want to say hype, but the interest in the Japanese team was really peaking, and they met the expectations. And I don't know if it's got quite the same upset factor as Japan-Ireland, because it was always looked at as a game that was going to be close. I think before the tournament I was picking Scotland because I thought surely they'll get it done. But I mean, Japan, to their credit in the tournament, were really good. So yeah, it's not a surprising one really that it's also very popular. And this one is on here again. It's Japan against Ireland. Just the regular highlights. So that one's like the 9-minute one. I didn't actually check the time, but generally the extended ones are 9 minutes. That's the short version. So the short version attracted 1.7 million views. So that's a big jump. 1 million, 1 million, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, 1.3, 1.7 for that one, Japan over Ireland. Again, just a massive amount of interest because it was such an unexpected result. Number 3 is New Zealand, South Africa. The extended highlights. It really shows you the interest those two countries have got in rugby, eh? The fact that a pool stage game, I mean, again, it's had the benefit of time because it's been out for quite a while. I'm not actually sure if World Rugby planned to do the extended highlights at the start, because initially they were really just doing the short versions, and it seemed like it was getting a bit of negative press because they were literally just showing the scoring plays without any context. So yeah, I'm glad they did it. I'm sure they're glad they did it with the amount of views they got for that game. As I said, an epic game between two Titanic teams, one of whom is in the final. So, yep, interesting that it goes there. The next one is not a match highlights one. The second most viewed video from World Rugby at the Rugby World Cup. It's not match highlights. It's the haka for the England game. The title of the video, I'm just abbreviating that there, is England's incredible response to haka. So it's about the V formation. That one has attracted 2 million views. I should have said that one's 1.8, by the way, New Zealand, South Africa extended. 2 million views for England's response to the haka. So not even match highlights, just people wanting to see what England did at the haka time. Attracted a lot of attention. It's reminiscent of what happened in the 2011 final with the French. Maybe they had a bit of inspiration from there. I know they asked Farrell about it in some of the post-match stuff, so it has attracted a bit of attention. But it's not number one. Number one goes to, again, it's a haka video, and it's against South Africa. So the official title of the video is New Zealand's first haka of the 2019 Rugby World Cup. Remember, this one was 2 million views. New Zealand's first haka, 3.8 million views. So, I mean, I honestly didn't expect, when I looked at these most popular videos, that the two most popular videos wouldn't actually be about the game itself, but rather about the haka from New Zealand before the game. To be fair, my wife's not into rugby, and sometimes she'll come in, watch the haka, and then she's done. She just wants to know the result at the end. So it really does seem to get a lot of the, I guess, people who aren't that interested in rugby along watching a little bit of rugby content, and hopefully as a rugby fan, we are kind of getting those people maybe more and more into the game in whatever kind of facet. But yeah, 3.8 million views for that haka. 3.8. It's almost double the next most viewed video. So, I mean, actually, if I looked at World Rugby's top like 6 videos of all time, and 5 of them are hakas. 5 of their top 6 are haka videos about like first haka from 2015, haka after winning the World Cup, and all that kind of stuff. And the one video of those top 6 which is not a haka video, it's about sevens, but the thumbnail is some guys doing a haka. The haka is a draw, man. Like, whether or not you agree with it, I know some people are not fans. I think most people are fans based on this, but I know some people aren't all that good about it. I do like, personally, what England did in the response to it. Yeah, basically they put their own response to the haka, which is awesome. That's kind of what it should be about. So yeah, those are the top 10 videos. So New Zealand's a pretty common theme. New Zealand, South Africa is a very popular one. Japan, also a very popular team for views at this Rugby World Cup, and kind of nice to see Wales and Australia in the top 10 there as well. So yeah, what do you guys think of this? Do you think this has any particular trends that we should be thinking about for the Rugby World Cup? Do you think the final will blitz all of these videos to the top? I don't think the final was the top video for 2015. I feel like it was also another haka video. So based on history, I'll say that. But yeah, what are you guys doing to kill the time between now and the Friday and Saturday games? Pro 14? You guys watching some? Top 14 or other competitions? You guys let me know your thoughts. I think the All Blacks team is named tomorrow for that third place game, and then we'll keep our eyes out for the other team namings as well. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.